What you're about to hear is an explanation of what went wrong with Planetside Arena, a battle royale set in the Planetside universe from its lead designer, Carto. It's cut from a larger conversation with Carto that you can find here on my channel. Link in the description. Now, without any further ado, here's Carto.
Ultimately, and we'll get to the why. The big problem with PSA was the game mode.
Mm.
Nobody wanted battle royale, but when we were making PSA, and I guess we're about at that point in the timeline, so we're making PSA and making battle royale. We're all feeling fine about it. There's a little bit of us that's like, BR game, I guess, whatever. Fortnite's out, PUBG's out, H1 is still doing this thing, but I guess another BR, it's fine. We're like, whatever. We're still sci-fi. We're the only one with 3-man squads.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
We've got a lot. We've got a lot going for us, right? And then, damn man, went into work Monday morning, turn on the computer, boot up Twitter. What's up, Apex Legends? And I went, you've got to be kidding me. And here comes this game. No one had any idea it was in development.
I didn't
No
know.
one had like. And I remember the whole team is just sitting there like watching Twitch, just like, we're so screwed. Like we can't compete with this. Like there's just no way. Like there's I think at this point 12 of us. We've been working on this game for like a year, maybe a little bit more. And then there's Apex that has this like massive launch, huge streamer playing it, and they've been involved in development for the past 4 or 5 years or whatever. And we're just like, we're dead in the water. Like, I don't know how many people are on the Apex team when it launched, but if I looked at it and I had a guess, I'd say 100 to 150. Like it was a incredible. It is, but like when it launched, it was an incredible game. Like no hiccup at launch. No one was getting locked out of it. Like it just worked. And we're just like, how the hell are we supposed to do anything? Like we can't, because we were supposed to. I think we were getting ready to announce. I think we were getting ready to announce like 2 weeks later about a 3-person battle royale, and then here's Apex, and we're like, well, this sucks. Now what the hell are we gonna do?
And they've taken the idea of classes and turned them into characters and
Yep,
heroes.
yep. The colorful loot,
A lot
like
of the same
like
ideas. Yeah.
it's just all the same stuff, right? We had no clue,
Sci-fi.
and it was just like mo- it was like my desk is falling apart. That's how depressing the story is. But like the
So,
but
what do you then do? What are your conversations like at the office? It sounds like you're just processing as a team. Like
oh yeah, you're
you're
sitting there, you're like,
on Sunday, you're making a cool project with a modest team that
yeah,
should have a niche that will be workable. It's a
yeah,
fun, creative process. You think there's going to be some appetite for it, and that knowledge is based on an understanding of here's what's been made. Here's what gamers can play now. Here's what our competition looks like. And then on Monday,
yep,
that completely changes.
yeah, yeah. We sat there just in, like I said, in awe. It was like all the things that made us unique and different were no longer unique and different, and now all we had was we no longer had a planet-side battle royale game. We had a planet-side sized Apex Legends without the engine, without the polish, without 150 or whatever people behind it.
Mhm.
12 months in, and it was just like, what the hell are we gonna do now? Because like you can't compete with that
Yeah.
with such a tiny little team, and you know what I mean. It was just like there was the sometimes you can that game, and to their credit, that game was just so good, and the launch went so well,
Yeah.
and it was well designed. It ran great. Had it went wicked viral. I remember we were sitting there just looking at the Twitch numbers, and that thing just like rocketed straight to the top. And it was just like, well, what do you guys want to do now? And those were the conversations that started, and then some really good conversations happened, uh,
Okay.
because that was when we, and this came from a lot of the the hardcore Planetside guys on the team about
Mhm.
what to do, this and that. And that's when we started to shift away from Planetside BR, PBR, PSBR, whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it,
Mhm.
and into Arena. And it was well, why don't we just do multiple game modes?
Mhm.
And well, I don't think we even had the name yet. But I said, let's make Halo on a massive scale. And we can do, because like Halo hadn't come out with anything on PC.
Right.
It was just chilling on Xbox.
Yep.
Um, I can't remember the last time I played a good, capture the flag game on
Right.
PC or territory control or oddball or any of that. And so like we had this huge library of ideas that we could like pull from or be inspired from and
Out
things
of
that we could
shooter
build
lore, modernized
just
them.
out of shooter, like exactly,
Yeah.
right? And so like we had all this stuff to work on. And then, we started kind of talking back and forth and it was like, well, what else did we really, really like? And we all loved Battlefield 2142. And
Okay.
we all loved Titan mode. And we're
Mm.
like, what if we just do Bastions instead of Titans? And like we had a massive 2142 as like the first kind of deal. And so that was what some of the things we started looking at and started doing design docs based around the stuff and started getting, the team was getting reignited. We were getting excited again because we do these things. And so then we had to have the questions with exec, like we need to pivot. We can't make a BR game. We can't, we
Yeah.
can't compete with these guys or anything like that. And for, the executive team, that's scary because
Of
now you've
course.
got, a year and a half of development time sunk into this thing and your team's like, we want to turn around and go a different direction and, whatever. And so it was a lot of conversations. And at some point, I can't remember exactly when, uh, it's all kind of fuzzy, but, we got the green light and we started building it. And so,
Okay.
the guys started kind of cranking away and we started doing our thing. And I, I still don't know what happened. Um, I don't know why it went back, but we went into work on one Monday and it was just one of those things like, y'all are making a battle royale. We're like, well, what about this other thing? I'm like, nope, make a battle royale. That's what we set out to do, and it's what we're comfy with, and that's what we're gonna do. And I remember,
Just finish the
we
job.
wrote yep, finish it. And so wrote news to the team. Team wasn't happy. They were happy about this other thing, and it was a really, really rough time because now there was this rift. But like in in game development, there, like I said earlier, right? It's super expensive. It's
Yeah.
so expensive. It's so much money, and so I try to like when you're growing up and you wanted to go to the arcade or whatever. For those of you who are old enough to remember those things, I probably just dated the crap out of myself. But you wanted to go out with friends or whatever it may be, and you would hit up mom and dad, and you're like, "Hey, I want $10, I want $20. Let me borrow some money." But now you're saying, "Hey, mom or dad, can I borrow 10 million? Can I borrow 20 million?" It's a way different conversation because that's
Mhm.
essentially what you're asking for. You're like, "We have these ideas, but we need $10 million to make them come to fruition. Will you give me
Mhm.
$10 million?" No one in the right mind is going to give me $10 million. I mean, look at me, right? And again, colored lights everywhere, and like, not gonna
Uh-huh.
happen. Anyway,
I kinda
but
like
like,
it.
and so like, those are the conversations that you have to have, and you have to like convince them to give you, 7 or 8 figures for all these people to work on this thing that you can't even guarantee is going to work or what's not going to work.
Yeah. It's a risk.
And
It's a
I don't,
gamble.
yeah, I think that people forget that, right? They're like, oh God, why would this game company do that? Because like, it's just, there's so much money at stake. And I hate to make it like sound like it's all about money, but like for a non-creative driven executive, it's a business. They're here to make sure X people can remain employed. They can pay their paycheck. They can feed their family. They can turn profits for shareholders or whatever it may, like it's a business, right? They're not there because they like, sci-fi rifles and explosions. Because at the end of that, like people just come out, well, why don't you just do whatever? And I was like, look, let's say that you had a job at Target, all right, and you worked in the electronics department, and you walked into work one day, and they're like, hey, we're gonna take everything on all the shelves and put them on different shelves. You're gonna tell them no? No. You may be like, dude, why are you wasting my time? Why do I have to do this? This doesn't seem to make any sense. But at the end of the day, You're going to move what's on what shelf, even
Mhm.
though you may not agree with it.
Mhm.
So until you're the one signing the paycheck, it's just one of those things you got to understand. Like, and it's tough, but like the best thing you can do as a dev is you voice your opinion. You keep it as professional as possible. Sometimes
Mhm.
passion comes in front of that, and that's totally fine. And if you're overruled and the decision is made to do against your wishes, and you do the best damn job that you can, and that's all you can do. And then hopefully you get another shot to do that in the future, because like it's not my money, it was their money. I was just there, and it was my job.
Play
And
the hand
it's
you're
tough.
dealt.
Yeah, exactly, right? And you try to make the best hand that you can, and you pray it's a good enough hand to win the game. But in this market, that's a very hard game to win.
Ain't easy.
And it's tough. I think the PSA thing, just in general, the if Planetside Mercenaries would have just kept going back in 2016, I think it would have been fine, because then Daybreak would have had two BR games out before there was anything else on the market, and
Mhm.
they would have held that cornerstone. But the switch, the delay, the reset, Apex, and then the ultimate launch, that was what, 4 years later, 3 4
Yeah.
years later,
Yeah.
is like it had changed way too much. It was just too late.
Yeah.